So, to begin, let me put it frank, I have not brushed my hair today. I really need to, but instead I'm right here. So last night I was messing around with this idea. Not my idea. I've seen it used elsewhere, I think with some kind of ritual. I don't even remember the name of. I watched something. I don't know, I've just seen people do this before. But basically they would use a book. In this case, I used this dictionary, Japanese dictionary that I've had for ever now. And they take the book, ask a question to a particular spirit, they open it. Point, that's their answer, right? And anywho, so last night, I've never done that method before, I've seen people do it before. And I decided, I wanted to try it out, I wanted to see what happened. What's the worst that can happen? I open the book and it doesn't make any sense, right? So, I sat, and at first, doing it like the first 3 times or so, didn't make any sense, okay? It's like, I open it and it didn't take too long for things to start happening. First, let me pre-state, I kind of stopped after a second. I was like, okay, this isn't working. So I kind of announced to whatever was around me, like, hey, if there is something that is willing to talk to me, use this book to do it, you know? And at that point, I started getting things that made sense. Some of the responses that I remember I asked it, were you human? At some point, when I opened it, it said Zimbabwe, or Zimbabwean. It was like on the same little line. At first I'm thinking, yeah, I guess I can interpret that as a human. Necessarily Zimbabwean exactly, I wasn't sure, you know? Kept going, and it gave me like the word killer, construction site. And so I'm thinking to myself, oh, was this person murdered on a construction site? No. Because when I asked further with that, it told me accident. So I guess killer was just this way of saying killed. After a while, I'm like asking it more questions. So I decided, okay, let's see how much I can really get from this. And decided that I would ask it its name. How would I do that? With it being a dictionary? Well, I'd ask multiple times in a row, and it would give me a letter. First letter I got was S. Second letter was A, and honestly, I'm just there like, oh shit, it's gonna say Satan, isn't it? Then it gives me an L, and I'm like, okay, passed up a bullet with that one. And the last letter was R. How do I know it's the last letter? Because I did state to it, like when it was done, to give me a word that kind of would symbolize finality. I had never seen this name in my entire life. Salr. I don't even know how to pronounce it. If anyone knows how to pronounce it, please tell me. So, having never seen it before, no idea of origin, etc., I'm like, okay, let me just hop online real quick and look it up, see if it pops up anywhere. Apparently, it's a surname from Africa. That would add up. At this point, I was kind of starting to have issues asking questions with it, because a lot of what was coming out wasn't making sense. But I did finally manage to get one more thing from it. I asked it why it was that it decided to talk to me. And it told me travels check. Literally, it told me the word travels check. That's what I ended up pointing to. So I'm going to take that to symbolize like, I was just traveling through, heard me asking anything around, and decided to answer. That method proves like it works. You know, it just takes a bit of getting it to work. I have another story. This is from some years ago. I was at my uncle's house. And for some reason, every single time me and him get together, there's all kinds of stuff that just ends up happening. Maybe it's the house, maybe it's not. But I do believe the house that he lives in, though, is from around, like, the 40s-ish. So maybe. I remember we were talking, you know, hooting. And so there was no breeze in this house. The doors, heavy wood. I don't think they were open. I do know the cat was nearby, but no way the cat could have done this because there's this heavy chair. And as we were talking, this heavy chair all of a sudden just falls back. Literally just fell backwards. Neither of us touched it. We were the only ones in the house other than the cat, for which I do believe the cat was like on the table. But again, the cat didn't touch the chair. And we were just so used to this type of stuff happening that me and him, like, we just looked at each other, the chair, and we just started laughing. Because we were just like, shit, stuff's trying to... Hello, What's up? How you doing? Knocking on the chair. Something wants attention, So that was... I remember trying to tell my nan, and stuff gets rationalized, but I don't know. I don't think there was too much harm out of that experience. It was just more so whatever was around just wanted to be acknowledged for a moment. Just like people do. Honestly, there's all kinds of stuff that tend to happen over there. I remember one time we were having this conversation. So my uncle, he's been in a good many car wrecks and such. This has happened to me before where I would just know something. There's no reasonable explanation for it. And sometimes it's hard to differentiate whether or not that something is something actually telling me something, or if it's just my mind trying to be very, very creative. In this moment, just in case, sometimes I will share what has popped into my mind. Just in case. I remember he talked for a brief moment about feeling like during his last accident, at the time, this has been like over a year or so ago, he felt like he had been given like another chance. And I started like shaking. And I had this just immense urge to relay to him that what it was that had told him that feeling that he has is no joke, and that he can't be messing around anymore. He has definitely been given another chance, because there are things in this world that he's meant to do. So don't throw that chance away, because there likely won't be another chance. In fact, the way I said it to him, that there wouldn't be another chance. When this was like kind of coming through, like I was literally shaking. I think it wasn't winter or anything. We weren't by like an open door to the outside world blowing in. I was literally shaking. I was the only person in the room shaking. I was pretty much on the bridge of tears when I said this, because whatever was putting through that message, having me say it, it was 100% serious. And I wanted him to understand that. I remember another time when I was over there. There was, he had like his laptop connected to the TV, playing music. We were all just kind of talking, chilling out. And I guess we started talking about more paranormal stuff, just being weird, having fun, And I remember he like noticed that there was this song playing that I don't think it was in his playlist or anything like that. It just kind of popped up. And basically, the meaning of the song, as he said, was pretty much Satan. So I went and changed it. And I think a lot of other stuff would end up happening. I don't remember too much because so much stuff happens, especially around there, that it's kind of like blocked from my memory. My mind just threw it away like, another day, another dollar. Goodbye. About a year and a half ago now, I had this cat. Her name was Potion very much. Honestly, that was such a great cat. She was very, very sweet. Very vengeful, though. if someone did something she didn't like. She made that very clear, and what I mean by that, once upon a time, a friend of mine stepped on her tail, and then my friend, apologized to her, everything. She did decide that she would piss on her bag later on that night. Miss that cat. So, when this cat died, it was very upsetting for me. It's really interesting, we had this other dog named Sammy, and a lot of the times her and Sammy would talk, under the door. I couldn't really let Sammy in the room with Potion because Sammy decided she was going to try to eat the poop. And she would take the poop out of the litter box and she'd spread it around the house, despite having food. If they were allowed together, they had to be supervised because of that, or outside of the room. So whenever they were kept separate, they'd try to get to each other on the door. There's a few times, though, I'd go into my room and I'd look under the bed, and I had a picture somewhere, but I don't know what happened to it. I've tried looking for it. Basically, Sammy was under my bed, and Potion was literally just sitting on top of her, and they were just chilling out under there. So cute. Well, Sammy, being old, ended up passing about a month before Potion did. It's real interesting. I think it was December 1st or 2nd or so when Sammy passed. Potion would die about a month later, literally almost to the day. That first week that Sammy died, I could have sworn that, I was in the kitchen, and usually when we're in the kitchen, all the dogs and such would gather, at the floor, get them scraps. And for a moment, I could have swore I saw her, walking down the little path in between the stove and sink. That was kind of the last time I ever really saw Sammy. Now, as per Potion, something really crazy happened when she passed. About a month later. Honestly, I think part of her passing was because she missed her Sammy. When Potion passed, it was very kind of sudden. So when I would go to sleep at night, she would always kind of lay on my back or somewhere on me, if not right by my face, because Potion. For a week or so after she passed, I'd lay down to go to sleep. And I'd feel this pressure where she would lay. It was just the oddest thing. So I could have sworn. I can't be 100% sure, but dang, she's not left. I knew Sammy had left. She had been done left. But Potion was still hanging around. It's almost as if she didn't want to go, or if she didn't even know that she had passed. A while of this, and I kept seeing her out of my peripheral vision, seeing her in her different spots, or me just laying down and feeling like she was sitting on me. And one day, I had my bed, and then the dresser, and then this little walk space between the two, not very large. I usually didn't go over there. One day, I had walked around the bed to the side of the dresser, not in between the dresser and the bed just yet. And I just had this feeling there was something right there in that little tiny spot in between it. And following this feeling, it's like a change in the air, it was heavier. Something was... I wanted to test it. Because while I have had a lot of experiences with this stuff, you can never be too sure. Maybe I'm just out of my mind, And if so, this just makes me really out of my mind. But, I decided to walk closer to it. So I did so. I got closer. Not much of anything happened, other than just feeling that heavy pressure. So then I decided that I was going to put my foot right where it was. And the moment that I did that, there was this loud growl. And honestly, it scared the absolute shit out of me. I remember jumping back, my heart racing what the heck? Whatever was right there, I had pissed it off firstly. And looking back, maybe it did start with that being my cat. And I don't know if that had been Potion who made it growl like that, but something tells me that it might not have been her, because I don't think she would have ever done something like that. Granted, if she was under the illusion that she was still alive, and I went to put my foot right there, she's probably thinking she'd getting hurt, only to realize that she hadn't been hurt. Honestly, not long after that, I never really saw Potion ever again, never felt her ever again. So I don't know if she, maybe that was her way of realizing that she wasn't alive anymore. And, still makes me sad. I remember when Sammy had passed after that first week and I kept seeing her everywhere. I told her that it was okay that she could go, because I knew the reason that she was sticking around was she was worried she wanted to stay with her people, you know. And then Potion would go, and she stuck around for a while. Maybe I was a bit selfish for keeping her around as long as I did. It's not like I was keeping her there personally, because she can leave whenever she wants. But I don't recall giving her that same speech. I think I eventually did. It did take more time. I don't think the speech was needed by the time that I gave it, because I think she'd already left. But, I still wonder, though, about that girl. Because I had never heard something like that before. Was it her? Was it her freaking out like the only way that she really could in the form that she was? Or was it something else that decided to pretend to be my cat? These are questions that I don't really know the answer to. But either way, she's gone now. Sammy's gone now. And wherever they are, I got a feeling that they're laying on each other. I guess that will conclude this long video. Thank you for watching. And if you would like to see more videos like this, let me know in the comments below. Subscribe, like, whatever you'd like to do. No one's forcing you. But it does let me know that you are interested and would like to see more kind of videos like this. Thank you for watching.